And I'm going to use cars for an example for this one. You have an internal combustion engine that everybody's trying to compare against. And the internal combustion engine, based on the Department of Transportation's figures, averages about 25, 26 miles to the gallon of gas equivalent, or miles to a gallon. So
Mhm.
there's this thing called a GGE in hydrogen. So it's how you make a comparison of your hydrogen usage in comparison to gasoline in an internal combustion engine. And so if I told you that I was selling you hydrogen for $12 a kilogram, but on the other hand, and you look at this is where the GGE comes in. It's based on the BTU equivalent of a gallon of gasoline has a very similar amount of BTUs in it as a kilogram of hydrogen. So that being the basis, and people were saying, okay, well then a gallon of gasoline is equal to a kilogram of hydrogen. That's on energy content. But because you're using a fuel cell to turn that hydrogen back into electricity, the fuel cell will go 2.8 times further on a kilogram of hydrogen than the internal combustion engine car will go on the gallon of gasoline, because you have all the friction in the crankshaft, the camshaft, the pistons, the transmission, and the rear end. All that friction adds up to using more energy, more of those BTUs to transfer that into motion. In an electric car, you have an electric motor that's getting an AC current from a fuel cell that started out as DC, and it's using a converter to get it to AC to drive the AC motors. The efficiency is so much better that you can go 2.8 times further on the same amount of BTUs. You can't just say, because if you stopped right there and you didn't do the rest of the math, a person would think, okay, well, $12 for a kilogram and I can buy gasoline for $3. Heck, it's going to be a long time before hydrogen becomes comparable with gasoline. But you got to do that 2.8. You got to divide that 12 by 2.8. So somewhere along there, when you get to like $10 and you divide by 2.8, you end up at $3 or below for a gallon of gas equivalent. And now all of a sudden, if you're making hydrogen at 2 cents a kilowatt hour, and because you're driving it with wind and it's green, now all of a sudden you can actually sell hydrogen for less than the cost of gasoline. So now there's a reason for everybody to go hydrogen instead of just trying to say it's green and it's environmentally better, which it is, but that's not going to get the majority of the people to make a change. You've got to,
What are you guys what is it right now? What are you guys making hydrogen per kilogram right now?
well, 10 cents is what I end up paying on my bill. It's only 5 cents for the wind
I see.
electricity, but by the
Mhm,
time the energy company does this wheeling charges and
mhm,
and then their operations and maintenance costs and everything, you end up at like 10 or 11 cents a
mhm.
kilowatt hour. So at that rate, you come in at somewhere around $3.86 a gallon of gasoline equivalent. Um, and so, which isn't bad because in Hawaii and in Europe, the European Union and places like that, that's still cheaper than gasoline.